Hi everyone, hope you're all having a good day and welcome back to this very deserted marketplace on Orion. As you can see, there isn't a soul about, most people having already long since departed for pastures new. The reason I haven't yet is probably twofold. The first, I didn't want to get caught up in all the initial transfers and things taking ages and things that having issues on the other side. It's actually just as well for me that I didn't go because all four of the characters I play would have had issues with the favor business, unlocking universal trees and classes with favor rather than buying them outright. So I have people with falconry, Vistani, Harper, Inquisitive, in some cases more than one universal tree. So from what I'm hearing, all of those would have been locked if I hadn't unset those trees before leaving. It does aggrieve me a little bit that this kind of thing wasn't made public, but I'm guessing that's perhaps because the developers use VIP accounts and weren't aware of the issue. But for plenty of people, it's resulted in being stuck at the other end. I appreciate that they've done the code now to unlock the affected classes, the favored soul and the war for the uh favored soul, and there's some races as well out the favored soul, warforged, and artificer. I think were the ones affected. But as far as I'm aware, they haven't done anything about the universal trees. So in the intervening time between my last video and this one, I've done my best to prepare a couple of my characters, like leveling them back to the cap without taking any of the favor rewards. I plan to zero the universal trees they're in before transferring, then go and accept all the favor, and hopefully that'll work out okay. There's just one person here, my main character, Fools, who I took ages to get to the cap with in the first place, don't want to TR, and he has points in Vistani for the haste boost, which I really wouldn't want to change. So I'll just have to zero that when he goes and hope for the best. I've already claimed all of his favor rewards, so I don't think I could unlock the tree that way. So I might just have to bite the bullet on that one and buy the tree, which I think is somewhat unfair, but hey ho. I suppose one could hope that in this they're going to release another version of that 2025 code, which a group of folk jumped on the bandwagon beforehand and claimed already. I think that is set to include the standard load of quest packs, which I'm sure many of us would echo the sentiment. It would be lovely if the older content could be made available to all, for free, so that there isn't this immediate paywall that new players are confronted with when they try to join the game and sort of assess the fun potential. I would definitely like to see that, and I'm sure I'm not on my own with that. So yes, this last couple of weeks on Orion, I mean the lag free. I've always wondered what it might have been like on the old Wayfinder server, and this has given me a very good indication. Given that aside from raids, I'm not a big grouper anyway, it hasn't affected me as much as it would plenty of other people, I'm sure. But the positive, the no lag, especially what's been going on, given what's been going on the new US servers in particular, I do feel sorry for all you folks who've made the transfer and found the game to be more or less unplayable. All this carry on with the portal issues and whatnot. But hopefully with the latest update they did, that full day update, hopefully some of that will be resolved. I know a few people who have taken a bit of a break from the game while all this is happening. Next Wednesday, of course, the release or the planned release of the new expansion. I know there's been a mixed reception in the forums, especially regarding the new loot system. I would wholeheartedly echo that, as mentioned before. Regarding rare loot itself, I mean, you can just opt out of that. To my mind, there's nothing that's nobody holding a gun to your head saying you must have all the best loot in the game and spend thousands of shards to get it. I get that that's their strategy and that's how they make the money, but I'll just be enjoying the content, and whatever comes I'll be happy for, and I certainly won't be trying to hunt for anything. My experience in Mythdrana has taught me that even the, let's call it the standard named loot, the blue items, if we want to call them that, they're pretty rare to find because of this adding of the augments to those named loot lists. So you've now got, whereas in the past it was maybe a 1 in 3 chance to drop the item that you wanted, going up to maybe 1 in 4 or 1 in 5, depending on how many named loot items the quest you were doing had. Often it was just 3. Now we're seeing like 6 and 7 and 8, maybe even more than that, including the rare things that can drop. So the chances of getting the one you want in any reasonable time frame, not very much. So no, I will not be doing any kind of farming of that content. I think it's the best way to sort of burn yourself out of the game, as we saw with quite a few on the Mythdrana stuff. So my advice would be just play the thing if you want, enjoy it for what it is, and be glad for anything nice that drops. But for God's sake, don't make that the be all and end all of your time in the game. I think that's about all I had to say. I just wanted to make a last little video on here before doing the transfer. We're going to try, my guildmate and I, to get ourselves onto Moonsea some stage this weekend. But before we go, I did mention, I think, that I'd had a go with my paladin here, Fools, in the legendary Vision of Destruction recently. He would very much like to find the bracers in here for the always on fire shield cold, which is an awesome swap to have for doing some of these fire heavy raids, the later raids in the game, like the fire over Morgrave or the threats old and new. So very much would like to collect runes for that. As you might see if you're looking up into the hotbar here, yes, Brian, I know it's still a mess. I humbly apologise. We have managed to get the Heart of Sulamades, which I was delighted at. I would have liked to try to work it into a, to have it on all the time, but I wasn't able to do that. But for things like this one, I've noticed anything outside of going in on normal, the curses do occur pretty often. And as you are reliant on not being cursed to be able to heal yourself and survive under the pummeling that the Orthons and the boss give you, something like this to be able to swap on, although it's losing me a significant set bonus. My artifact is the Night Hag's Heartstone from the that chain in the 12, the Lord's March chain. Not in the 12, in the Lord's March Plaza. What am I on about? It's an easy drop, that one. It's a rubbish item on its own for a melee to use, but as part of the set, you can see there's a nice set bonus there. But I don't mind losing that if it means I can have this always on, not be cursed, and be guaranteed to heal, because our healing as a paladin is pretty strong. And if we can out heal the incoming damage, then eventually we should be able to chip the opponents down. So that's the aim, and I'm sticking to it, and hopefully our reward for survival at the end, if we can survive, will be a nice set of those braces of the glacier. We're going to try on hard. I'm fully aware that there are people doing it on elite and even Reaper on their own. That's not to my level, but if I could complete this on hard, I'd be delighted. So we'll start off with all the standard buffs. We have another little advantage in here, so we're going to put the heart always on. Being a paladin, we're immune to that maggot disease that the Orthons give. So that ticking damage over time won't be applying to us, which is great. Displacement, if you didn't know, is useless in here. Apparently everything has true sight or some kind of equivalent to that.
Barking a command.
So first job to try and get rid of at least one Orthon to try and even the odds a bit for ourselves. So you can see on the... I didn't even put rage on, did I? That's corrected. See, we're taking a bit of a pummeling, hammering away on the quick cutter, epic strike. Okay, I think panic over for now. We've got plenty of smites down there, as you can see. Now, unfortunately for me, I've got no boss beating weapon at the moment. That's on my to-do list for when we transfer. So the ignition that we're using at the moment is pretty useless against the boss. All the CC that we have on it is no good at all. So we'll just have to grind it down slowly and be glad for that. Keep the smites coming in. You can see there I have got the 5 pieces of sanctified fervor in the weapon, so every time we smite we get a nice little boost. The circles at this low level I don't think are too damaging to us, so I can happily stay in there. Quick cutter does give us, as well as a nice damage with the crit potential, it gives a ticking damage against the target, which is nice. My attack speed, I'm afraid, is feeble because I was looking at MechGraber's post in the Paladin forum recently, and he's experimented with changing out the Vanguard tree for Sacred Defender, so much more survivable at the expense of attack speed. You can somewhat paper over that in the shorter quests with the haste boost and using shrines, but here we can't. I'm just going to have to save the haste boost for select moments. See what I could do, I could give us a bit more strength. Nice little clickable item there. The not being cursed is such a blessing. I can't tell you how nice that is in here. Oh, having said that, how did we get... Oh, I've just... Oh, can't believe I've done that. Can I get rid of that somehow? 8. I swapped just by habit back onto the standard trinket when I triggered the strength thing. That was a real boo-boo. So you can see he's got 13 million health, so it's not going to be a quick job. I could have done it on normal to speed up the proceedings somewhat. I wanted to do a little bit of a challenge here for the last video on the server. I'm I'm gonna save at least a couple of the haste boosts for when the Orthons come back, because I think that's the big one now. If you survive, I think most people would agree, if you survive the first wave of Orthon plus boss, the biggest pinch point then after that is the return of the Orthons, when I think when the boss goes to about 25% of his health, they come back. Healing wise, we are well catered for here. The renewal that I'm constantly spamming is ticking really nicely. Then we've got, each time we do a smite, I'll try and show you there. Nope, didn't do it for some reason. Let's just try and get rid of these beggars. Yeah, each time we do a smite, we get a chunky heal as well. Then we've got 11 lay on hands. That's one nice advantage of being in Sacred Defender. Over the Vanguard tree, you get extra lay on hands. Plus, we get extra hands from going big in the Sentinel tree as opposed to Crusader. So we've given up damage for survivability, basically, which when you're trying to do things solo, I guess is a reasonably sound strategy. How much con have we lost? We've lost a bit. Now yeah, there's something taking our con away. Our remove disease also removes stat damage, I think, doesn't it? Let's just let's have a boost. Yeah, so that not being cursed in moments like this where stuff's just ploughing into us and being able to heal always when wanted is a real bonus in here, at least for me. Just tame this siege of trash, and then we're going to test out the remove disease. Yep, took off the stat damage nicely. Happy days. Remembering to click my Holy Retribution off, and that's the Knight of the Chalice tier 5, because that gives me back a smite whenever I click that. I've had some nice, in questing, I've had some nice CC out of the shield throw from the Sentinel tree. Leading with that when on my own, and then going in with Ignition is quite a nice way to keep enemies relatively subdued. I can't say enough about the legendary salt on the Ignition. I think they call it Identity Crisis on this weapon, don't they? But to see how slow the things go. I did a little tester quest just so I wouldn't be walking into this cold just now, and I blew up a Vengeance Reaper by accident, and there was something still left. But the thing was going so slow that it really wasn't a problem. Getting somewhere down near halfway, are we? Slowly, slowly. But unless besieged by trash like we were earlier, it's not often that we go down below half health. And when we do go that far down, we've got that thing, the 3 points in... do I dare show you? That would be really cheeky while the boss is engaging me. No, I don't. There's 3 points in one of the enhancements in the Divine Crusader tree. I think it's called How Dare You Strike Me. And it gives you a chance to regain smites when hit by offensive magic. But also that 3rd point triggers a consecration at your location when you go down below 50% health, which can be very nice when you're getting hammered. Exhausted, we don't really want that, do we? coming up now to the halfway point, aren't we? So yeah, I kind of interrupted myself. The heals that we've got, the renewal, we've got the rage heal, which I just did, which you saw did 8,000. It's just an instant heal to max outside of Reaper. We've got the lay on hands, which let's show you one quickly. So 4,000. We've got the Astimar hands, which are not quite so good because they're wisdom based instead of charisma. That was one just there. And we've also got the oh crap button, the unyielding sovereignty, which is on button 5 there in the... And as if that wasn't enough, being in the Sentinel tree now, we've got the Go Big button as well, Undying Vanguard, so instant heal to full, 10,000 temporary hit points, and also it said plus 5 weapon bonus for 30 seconds after you activate it, which on a tank wouldn't be much good, but on this build, where you're trying to do some damage as well, is quite helpful. So yeah, well below halfway now. Most of you have probably given up and gone home by now. Let's just quickly show you this enhancement I was talking about. That's the one, How Dare You Strike Me. So the third one of that is very useful if you're getting pummeled and going down below 50% health. That's when you need an extra heal. I actually took something else as well with a view to going low in health. Let's just try and show you that. This one here, I know people don't commonly take it, but down below 40% there's another ticking heal that kicks in. Just things to sort of help get us back to some degree of safety when trouble strikes. In Reaper, I suppose not that great because it'll all be nerfed by the Reaper self-nerf, but in situations like this, I still think pretty good. I should probably trigger a ring here. I've got one of these legendary rings of spell storing just to cater for the mana side of things. So on my squishier characters like my Archer Red, I dare say these traps would be horrible. But for the Paladin here, he has a decent 350 plus PRR, 200 plus MRR, so he's pretty decently catered for defences wise while not being an out and out tank. I think he goes over 400 PRR in Reaper, which is for a character that's not a complete tank, I'd say that's pretty good. Trying to remember what the boss was left on. I think he has about a third, is it, of his health left. Saves, obviously, for a paladin, really nice. Now, fortification, I was reading something in the forum the other day about how much you need, and there was somebody saying they'd tanked all kinds of content. It sounded like a really experienced player, and he was saying you didn't need above 200 for anything. So I've kind of toned back a little bit the expenditure in that area and put points into other bits, and I guess we'll see how we go on. See there, the consecration triggered, we went down below 50% and straight away the thing is helping us. This chain thing's annoying. Is it oh, it was was it an exhaustion? Was it a chain, or did we get exhausted there? We were going like a slug there, weren't we, for a second? I think maybe there was some. I should have done a resto potion, should I? Can I resto that away? No, I don't think I can. I think we're stuck slow and slower while that effect persists. That's not ideal. But you can see that consecration. I don't actually have consecrate in the crusader tree, but that enhancement thing we picked up means it's triggering nicely to help us. So the boost I'm going to save now for when the Orthons come back. Let's give ourselves a bit more damage with that. Keep the smites going. I think the Orthons will be along soon enough. I think it's 25% when they come. Save plenty of smites and boost for them. This guy on our own against him, it's fairly steady away, I think. I don't think we're that threatened by him. But in conjunction with the Orthons, and when he puts his chains, I think that's the toughest part of the raid, at least for my money. Please don't let them come now. I guess to any seasoned, especially single weapon fighter, the speed of my attacks will be like sluggish anyway, even at normal speed. As mentioned before, I think this would be a decent character to, if you don't have an out-and-out tank, to sort of anchor a party and have everybody else doing their things around it. And my little archer Red would love to play with a character like this, to take all the attention. We do have a decent intimidate as well on this character, 100 plus. So I think for quite a few of the softer raids, he could probably do the... Oh, here we go. Let's boost. In fact, let's do the go big here. Just for a bit of extra security, because you never quite know what can happen when these lot pop up. Come on, people. Really could do with getting these out of the way quickly. Come on, almost there. Lovely. And now that's done, I hope I'm not tempting fate here. I just can't see us losing. I'm sure we're not setting any speed records, but we will have done it relatively safely too, without being in too much trouble. Oh, come on, stop it with the slowing thing. I'm never sure, I was never sure how much to focus on what. It's a bit of a balancing act, this attack versus defense. I think I've mixed it up reasonably well, given what I'm trying to do, that he's alone in quite a lot of them. I mean, for anybody who just spends most of their time in groups, to do a sort of a half-half like this probably isn't ideal. Either do an out-and-out tank or go for the damage side of things. Make it easier for yourself. This one just suits me quite well because I am quite often alone. So one of the first things I'm going to do when I get to where we are going is to try and find a threats raid to put him in. I have a Golden Age bastard sword ready for him to upgrade, and that should hopefully make boss beatdowns a little more tolerable. Come on, almost there. Let's throw the last of the smites in. Actually, I'm saying we get health back when we smite. We don't anymore, do we? I'm noticing. That was in the top tier of the Crusader tree. So we have lost that in respecking, albeit we're a lot more tanky. We don't get the... I think it was in there, wasn't it? Yes. So the party doesn't get the heal anymore, and we don't get the heal for using a smite. I think, yeah, just noticed that. Having said that, I'm very pleased with where the build's at. Thanks again to Mech for posting it and for sharing his thoughts on it. It's been perfect for my purposes. Very forgiving. The softer content he can do Reaper 8 now with this new defensive focus and sort of hover around the Doom, spamming quick cutter and chip it down before it chips him down. So that's quite nice. And with any kind of backup, obviously the Doom would die way before he would. So I think that's pretty much mission accomplished. No bracer, sadly. We'll have to wait for another time, but we are collecting valuable runes towards it. And once we get to the new server, I'll be able to hopefully go in with several different characters to speed up the process rather than just doing it on my own, which will be nice. Okay, I think that's probably a fitting end. Just to reiterate, the first time I stepped in here, just as a bit of an exploratory look at it, I went in with my caster druid, which ironically was this same character. He was the druid of the team back then. He lasted all of about 10 seconds before being absolutely brutalized by the Orthons. And so this is to some degree like the closing of a circle, if you will. So more than happy to end on that note. Thank you very much as always for looking. I hope the latest patch makes playing a bit more tolerable for those of you who've had all the issues recently. And I look forward to transferring to Moonsea later on this weekend and hopefully meeting one or two of you there and joining in with some of the nice raids. Right, that's it. Take care, everyone, and I'll speak to you soon.